Welcome to Innovative Strategies with Bill Hasse. Innovative Strategy is a show designed to help people with their business and personal financial literacy, but not in the way that you have known. This is not your grandpa's financial literacy, as Bill uses his 30 plus years in the financial industry to stretch your financial box from, let's say about a 30,000 foot view of things. Bill and his guests have helped hundreds of clients achieve and surpass their financial goals. If you have any questions, please email Bill at Billhasse, that's Bill at BillHASE.com. Reach out to him right here at 216thenet@gmail.com. It's all about playing that out. I just love the music. It's inspiring, Bill.
Yeah, well, that's what it's meant to be. Inspiring way, wake you up. Let's get rocking and rolling. Let's, what's the wonderful subject of the day? And, we're doing that classic. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Kind of a deal.
Was it everything that you dreamed it would be?
It was the most challenging year of my life. By a long shot.
That's good.
By a long shot. It started with my son getting married on New Year's Eve, and then moved into other issues, some family things to deal with, and business things. And then I got this idea that I thought I'd bring to life, and that just expanded exponentially. And it went from just a small little idea working with a couple of schools to a global idea. And we're still working on that aspect of it, although we have some good things going on there. Not the best that we had hoped for, but we're moving in the right direction.
It was for everybody involved. I think 2022 was a very opportunity for a lot of learning, new experiences, different stresses. Ted Legal listening this morning from Legal Legacy Home and Business Services.
Ted.
Says, "Hey guys, hope you had an amazing Christmas and we'll have an amazing New Year." And he says, "Yeah, absolutely, same here. Most challenging as well."
I don't know. It's been interesting because I've had so many amazing guests on this show. We have been very blessed, very fortunate to have the quality of people we've had on the show, and we've learned so much. And that learning has helped me to develop the skills to think bigger and build something very big and go through the trials and tribulations and challenges of that. Look at this show. We started the year off where we were a radio show. Now we're a radio show, and we roll out into 6 different podcast channels. Then it moved
and hang on.
But
wait, there's more.
Then it goes into a TV show.
Yeah.
We were able to expand the innovative strategies here on the radio show is how to develop a business from concept to success.
Yes.
And then that developed into the TV show Conversations with the CEO on Futures Television, where we have conversations after you've been successful. Now, what do you think about?
Yeah.
Now what's on your mind? And it's funny because I'm looking at some news flashes going by here, and it's like, okay, all predictions for the stock market in 2022 were horrendously wrong. But here's the ones for 2023.
That's right.
Here's what we're looking for.
That's right.
Follow right along with the experts. I want a special shout out Amanda Russo.
Yeah.
If you're listening in today,
she is.
You need to give Southwest Airlines a call.
Right.
Okay. Bob Johnson is the CEO, and he desperately needs your services. Amanda, if you recall, was on our show here and does process mapping.
Yeah.
And what she does is she helps companies who have outdated systems get back in line and get, keep their businesses rolling right along. And I know Southwest is trying to blame the weather and everything else, but look, we got 3 inches of snow here in Chicago, and you're canceling thousands of flights 4 days later. It doesn't work that way. And on top of that, it's horrendous. It's their system. It's their antiquated system. And they just didn't upgrade it. So folks, you want to fly a discount airline, These are kinds of things. They don't have the money, or they don't spend the money maybe efficiently. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what their internal problems are.
They absolutely need to tune into Innovative Strategies.
But I am sorry if you are stuck anywhere in the country and probably 1,000 miles away from your luggage and whatnot. And I hope that all works out for you before the new year, so you can start the new year off on a good note.
Not only that, but now we're streaming live on Twitter. We've got over 35 million subscribers. People can run out to Apple Music now and catch Innovative Strategies live when it goes, because 216 the Net is out there. You just punch in 216 the Net, and all of a sudden, boom, here comes our live radio.
Here comes the sun.
Yeah, so everything is great.
Yeah, don't ask me to sing.
And just building. So as challenging as 2022 has been, it's also been a lot of great successes. Climbing a mountain, really.
There has. I saw some pretty steep lows early on, and I've seen high levels. I spent a month where I traveled a little over 20,000 miles to the Middle East and back, and around the country here, taking care of things both personally and professionally. It has been the full gamut.
Yeah.
I just have no other year like it in my life by far. And I'm looking forward to the fruits of the work and the labor coming together here in 2023. Yeah. So it was disappointing not to achieve all the goals I had set. Mm-hmm. But the one goal that it was very, very lofty, very challenging, and I'll be honest with you, I don't want to place blame anywhere else, but the not achieving the ultimate goal I wanted to achieve this year was not due to anything I did wrong or with my partner or anything. This was an outside source that had an influence on us. That did not follow through, at least to this point.
Well, and that's the difference of being a mom and pop and trying to create a global business as well. I mean, your lofty goal of what you're doing, admit it, I mean, is amazing. Number one, but number two, it's not, hey, I'm opening up, I'm putting my name on the side of a truck and I'm doing plumbing.
Yeah, I'm not hanging a shingle outside my door here. That's not what's happening. Our shingle is going much further than that. Right, sure. With our connections with Roku, Apple, and Samsung TV, we can reach about 1.7 billion subscribers there. Yeah. We have developed another opportunity. I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say it's an opportunity for us to reach upwards of 4 billion subscribers. Yeah. So that's half the population of what we call in this world right now. So we have a tremendous marketing plan. Yeah. But we need funds. We need to get up and going.
Yeah. And again, over here on the board, learn from wins and losses. So there's always a great opportunity to see things. Now, you never really see it when you're in it, like you've been, nostril deep in this thing, because it's consumed a lot. But once it breaks through, once that you get there, I read a quote in a book that says, whether you win or lose, it's enjoyable because it's the same process. You just have to look back and go, okay, what happened. So once you win, once you get that win, you'll sit there and go, okay, look, I don't know, I just did the same stuff, and here we go. So.
Yeah, So my partner, Deb Dietz, who's been on this show several times and an amazing person, brilliant. And, we've had a lot of conversations. And one of the conversations we had early on working together was we acknowledged the fact that not everything was going to go smoothly or perfectly, right? We knew there were going to be challenges. And we also knew that how we rose to those challenges would make a big difference. And what we can do and how we can build our business and, how we can work together would solve a lot of, ideas and thoughts and issues going forward. As long as we knew we could deal with them and we could figure out how to move on. What's plan A, B, C, and D? not just plan A and, oh, it's not working, think of plan B. We've had plan A, B, C, and D. We have not executed them. And that's what 2023 is going to bring about.
That's financial literacy and business literacy 101 is all of the what ifs then.
Yeah, well, 101 is have a plan.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that there's a huge percentage of people who in the last couple of years have left their corporate world and started a business and they don't have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I have a young gentleman that I'm working with just as a side support for him down in Dallas. And he had an idea for a new business. And I just said, okay, but you don't have anything. He also had a partner. He said his partner seems to have lost interest. They were friends and now they're not talking so much. And I said, well, it looks like it's come down to because you didn't have a plan. And so if he's going to be the finance guy, he's not going to believe in you because you don't have anything written down other than you just have this great idea. And I said, that idea is already out there.
Yeah.
He thought it was new, but no, it's already out there. And I said, you need to go do research. How much of it is out there? And and that's what this show does, right? Mm-hmm. We bring on amazing people. Scott Rosenzweig, sales growth. He's now out in Denver. Bert Levy, Kumo Partners.
Right.
Tom Briggs on branding. He's out in Portland. Yeah. Joe Rojas. I mean, the 5 steps on building the foundation of a business. I mean, the guy is amazing.
Yeah, I still got his notes floating around here.
Yeah, absolutely outstanding. I mentioned Amanda Russo, Steve Furman, the 4 pillars to scale up. Josh Joel, down in Atlanta, an employment lawyer, and of course, one of our favorites around here, Sally Santos.
Oh yeah.
Stepping away. She went from that corporate world to that small business.
Which, by the way, congratulations, another record year for the Santos agents.
Outstanding. Yeah. Well, they deserve it.
Yeah,
they put the time and effort into it. I'm seeing your note there, Ted. We'll talk. We'll talk about that coming on the show. Absolutely. I'm open to all kinds of guests. I want to just give some thanks to all these folks. Brendan Kumarasamy, communication skills.
That young guy, amazing.
Yeah, I mean, how important is that? If you want to level up in your position in the corporate world, especially, you need to understand the communication skills that it takes. There's just Jeff Schwartz out in New York. What a great lawyer. He's helped us out, done good stuff for us. And one of our favorites, Laura Di Benedetto.
Oh, yeah.
She's written a fantastic book. She started 4 businesses.
Yep.
She does amazing advising for business owners who have a tendency to have old habits and old ways get in the way of what they're trying to do.
Here's what I've really appreciated about Innovative Strategy and bringing these people on. Number one is, sitting behind the microphone here, I've created great content and great contacts.
Yeah. Right.
And just to be able, there's so much to be said about the minds that you sit around. There's that stupid saying, "Oh, you make as much money as the 5 people." Well, that's the case. Most 5 people are kicking me out, right? They know what.
Well, you're only as smart as the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? And they're supposed to be all smarter than you,
right? But it's for a guy who networked a lot in Chamber of Commerce's. So there's a lot of mom and pop, right?
Yeah.
Good people, good minds, but with a limited scope. When you start having communication and relationships with the people that you brought on this show, it like chips away a lot of the outer layers to go, you're not thinking big enough.
That's a great point. I think that's many of us, including myself, don't think big enough.
Yeah.
I came up with the idea from Ed Partners in end of January, beginning of February. Brought Deb on right away. Knew I would need her brilliance to help me in the areas that I'm weak in. And within 2 months, we went from, are we going to just be doing this school district here? Or then it was, no, we're going to do the whole country.
Yeah.
We're going to be national. And within a month of that, It was international. It was global. We had countries reaching out to us already, wanting to know what we were doing. I wound up interviewing, a woman from the educational department in Sweden.
Wow.
On my TV show. These things have blown up. Deb's got we've got some stuff in the works for doing a convention for 6 different countries down in South America. France is reaching out. It is crazy how fast and how big it grew, and yet we were never out of control.
Yeah.
We were never, we took our steps,
just the clay model,
and because of so much of what I've learned here doing this show and meeting all these people. Now you're right. I went from mom and pop chamber things, which I'm a big fan of, big believer in. Right, I still sit on the board, and then going on the financial board as well. But those are so important. But you want to expand, then get out there and find those national networking groups, which is what I wound up kind of rolling into, being invited to them little by little, and I've gotten away from the local ones where let's go have coffee for an hour a week group. I've expanded and getting to meet people all over the country, and these folks, awesome. These are all sharp folks. I mean, it wasn't too long ago we had Nelson and Hala here from Pro CFO.
Yep.
I mean, what a great, that was so important to me.
Eye-opening.
Yeah, it was very eye-opening. It helped me immediately, because that's an area I have a weakness in and I need.
Yep.
Eileen Rain, talking about unemployment. So many people that are looking for jobs, very difficult to do nowadays. You know what? Reach out to her. Get on her website. She puts out great information every week. I love receiving it. Thank you. With homes right now, we've got interest rates going up, right? It's harder you can't buy as much home.
The National Association of Realtors is saying there's going to be a 30% decrease in home sales in 2023. Kevin Callback on the Neighborhood Pulse, it's the real estate show here at 216 Studios, is has said that over 10%, over 10% to 20% of realtors will get out of the real estate business just because of how slow it's going.
Yeah, and that's a natural. Only 20% of realtors are actually any good.
Yeah, that's right.
So the other 80%, you can have it.
That's right.
So we can absorb that. We've had Mike Tobin on the show. We've talked about it. Interest rates. I'm from Interest Rate Futures. Go ahead and buy the home now, folks. It's okay.
Yeah.
Rates are probably going to go up a little bit, but I'm pretty sure by the end of this year, worst case scenario, you're going to be refinancing at a lower interest rate.
Yeah, there's got to be some easing that's going to go on, and the other great thing about Innovative Strategies is it's allowed me to look at the economics more than just the verbiage that is out there. Dow up, Dow down, and started looking at really economics and how the world is moving and running. And I'm
developing a class for a South American country, and it's all about understanding the value of their dollar. All right, and a dollar that can fluctuate as much as 100% in a day. So how do you build a business?
Yeah.
How do you buy anything? How do you know
prepare
to retire? How do you know how to put money? Whether you're gonna have food on the table next week because you don't know if it's going to cost $1 or $100. There's a lot that goes into that.
Sure,
but so I'm trying to put a class together and understanding how to work in that environment, and how to deal financially in that environment. It is very challenging. But these are things that our guests have brought to our table, and blessed us with their gift and their incredible professionalism, their knowledge, their experience. I mentioned, good guys like Bert Levy. I've got so many names. John Mackey talking about credit, genius. Yeah. I thought I was pretty savvy in that, but he schooled me very quickly.
Right.
Very simply.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do on the side here is mortgages. So I deal in credit all the time. But yeah, he opened my eyes like, wait, what? Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, well, we also learned, so we kind of are born and raised to keep things to ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to start a business. Don't tell anybody. They might steal our idea. And now we're understanding that the importance and value of actually getting the word out, because there's a lot of people out there. Everybody wants to help. Like I said, if you want to steal my MetaEd Partners business, good luck. Go ahead. You can have it. Trust me.
Go get it.
I don't think you'll last long, because once you understand, how much goes into some businesses, but it's just the people that come in here that can help you out, and get out there and shout out about it, because the more you shout out about it, the more you'll find that you're going to be introduced to people. Networking is not about selling, folks. Stop selling. If you meet me in a networking group, do not start putting me on your weekly email list for your newsletter. Do not. Ask me if you want to do that. If I would be accepting of that, because I get far too many, and it's people trying to sell me, and they don't even know me.
Right.
They don't even know all I'm into. And it's pretty hard for anybody to ever figure out all the things I'm into, but still. We have from Ted.
Yeah, Ted says, in today's business world, as in today's personal life, it's important to have a network of people who can help educate you on how to get to where you want to be in each aspect of life and business.
And there's various ways of doing that, Ted. I mean, it can be, it can be a mentor. Yeah. I'm having a meeting this afternoon with my mentor I haven't talked to in a couple of months. Scott Rosenzweig. The man's brilliant. Yeah. And I love just having conversations with him.
But to piggyback off that comment, Ted, and what I've learned here at Innovative Strategies with Bill Hussey is it all goes back to that plan in your life, in business. If you don't have a plan, you'll just sit and take anybody's. You'll let people chirp in your ear and go, "Oh man, that sounds brilliant. Let me go over here."
Yeah, right.
And you walk over there, and it takes you away from your ultimate goal, because
squirrel.
Take a listen to any great speaker. Their content isn't necessarily great. It's the cadence that they deliver the speech. So great, yep. Ted. You take a look at like Simon Sinek. Everybody loves Simon Sinek. But it's not that he's giving you anything new or wow.
Right.
It's just that he hesitates in his cadence in delivery. A good preacher will do that same thing. Have a cadence. Have delivery.
Right. Take a joke.
Yeah.
And have 10 different people tell the joke. One person's going to be funny.
Oh, yeah.
But not everybody's going to be funny with that, right? They just don't have the delivery. I mean,
You take a look at Don Rickles.
Yeah.
I can't say the same things he does and people laugh. Right. But he does, and it's his delivery. It's like, wow, it's timing. It's delivery.
It is.
So a lot of
George
times,
Carlin, Robin Williams, all those greats.
So a lot of times, to your point, is you may capture me with your cadence, and I go, man, you're brilliant. Have nothing to do with where I want to go in my plan. So I start going, let's leak over here a little bit. And I've walked away from my plan because I didn't have one or I didn't understand it. And I saw, rest in peace, but Uncle Pete's birthday today, right?
Yeah. Happy birthday, Peter.
Is, that shiny new thing. Are we always chasing, you'd always say, are we chasing a shiny new thing?
Yeah, and so, and on this show, we're not trying to distract you and have you chasing shiny new things all the time. What we're trying to do is we're trying to give you different angles, aspects, opportunities, and trying to help you understand what it takes to build a business.
Well, and I will guarantee that hundreds of thousands of your listeners with the people that you've had on go, huh, I didn't even know I could utilize a business like that.
Right.
Huh. Had I known that existed, it would have made, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's the cool thing about innovative strategies. It's just like, hey, just a different strategy, but here's the
here's
CFO.
Different ideas. Here's different thoughts. Here's things that you if you were building a business, especially from concept, these are things you need to know about, because you're going to come across them at some point.
Yeah.
I learned with Tom Briggs, I understood, and Drew Casaccio, of course, another favorite of mine. They all are, but Drew's a special standout, and how I learned from them, branding, marketing, web design.
Yeah.
That's got to go all in one. That's not separate deals.
No.
You need to build those together with that team. That's one whole aspect. So we learn these things. Amanda Russo again, because now I'm saying, okay, we're going to build our learning management system from scratch, because I want to know every step of the way. I want to process map this.
Yeah.
I want nothing left out. I don't want to have to go back, as she does to many business owners, and they go, well, let's see, we did this system to start. I can't remember. We did that patch sometime.
Well, this one thing worked well.
Yeah, and then we had to upgrade, and then we had to patch here, and then we opened up an office in another city, and then we went global and patch, and all of a sudden the whole thing falls apart. So I learned very early on, put that together. Joe Rojas, I learned how to build that solid foundation. Who helped me when I mentor the kids in the incubator system in high school, that I tell them, you got to build these solid foundations. You remember Nicole Martin?
Yeah.
What a burst of energy, just filled with life. She was on the TV show, and special in the HR world, and we did run it on the radio show as well. Yeah. But just outstanding, and we've had many people, in all different kinds of areas.
Mm-hmm.
What you need to think about, whether you're in your 20s or you're looking at retirement. Nate Rubenstein, was on here with the Medicare, helping out with that. We talked about chambers. Scott Adams, the value and importance of chambers, leadership. We tried to bring in, some different life lessons that we just don't get anywhere. And David Spitolnik, with his leadership skills, again, Brandon Kumarasamy, with communication skills.
Our guy a couple of weeks ago with chess.
Yeah. Evan Rabin, with the strategy of chess, and how that plays out in life and corporate and business.
Yeah. Of course, you're listening to 21.6 Net. We're right at the bottom of the hour, and this is Innovative Strategies with Bill Haase. If you are interested in what Bill does, check out Innovative Strategies out on Facebook. You can check out his podcast out there. You go to Spotify or Apple podcast, all that good stuff, and it's innovative_strategies, and you can find that out there, which is absolutely great. And listen to all of these episodes that we're talking about here today on the 2022 wrap up. You can go and just, literally, it's like, for you young people, we used to have encyclopedias, right? But literally, this is like a little Google area for you that you can just dive into.
Kind of Cliff Notes.
Yeah, Cliff Notes, and just kind of eat some good stuff. Like, follow, subscribe to all of Bill's social medias out there. Follow us. You can go to Twitter at studios_216. So at studios_216, and follow us there and catch all of our live shows. Apple Music now, TuneIn Radio, you name it. We're out there. You can grab all this content because we want to give and give and give and give.
Yeah, if you're having issues or concerns with a business, or you're just getting started, or you feel that you're kind of stuck in the mud, or anything, reach out. It's not that we sit here and I don't claim to have all the answers. Right. That's why I bring all these people on.
Yeah,
they have the answers, and I just have the connections and the contacts.
Well,
I'm blessed,
and truly, that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in 2022. is that you have to rely on, you have to be a good enough leader, you have to be a good enough business owner to be able to say, hey, I can't do this. Bill, you're the guy who can do this. And be able to have you hold my baby for a little while, right? So I learned that in small business, a good team is better than a great owner. And being able to hand that ball off or hand that baby off, because you're the guy that understands this section of my business.
It helps to have both, right? Yeah. You need good leadership, but good leadership needs to understand that you're not at the end all be all to every answer to every question. And we get taught this, and people know this, that, you know, good leadership says, come to me, and if I don't have the answer, I'll find it for you, or I'll tell you who you should be talking to that can give you a better answer than I can give you. You know, that's good leadership. But it starts all over. I mean, you know, so the new business that I'm building here with Deb, we don't have employees. Everything's outsourced.
Yeah.
All right. So, but it doesn't mean that they aren't employee-like or family-like. Yeah. You know, we feel very comfortable with all the people that we're looking to work with and have been working with. And we call everyone contributors. Yeah. There are no employees. We just have contributors. And that includes Deb and myself. We are just contributors to a cause, to a business, to making it successful. Each person who does anything for us is contributing to the success of MedEd Partners. All right. So mindsets. You're right, though. It's about treating people well, treating people properly. You know, I still see too many egotistical business owners that I look at and I'm like, really?
Well, and a lot of old school guys. So guys, you know, guys who have a little bit of silver in their hair, guys and gals, still kind of want to do business the old fashioned way. Yeah, and this year was such a learned year for so many people. I was just spent some time with my family, my nieces and nephews and their spouses, and every one of them, now they're in their 20s, early 30s, right? But every one of them want to work from home. They're all looking for a job to work remote, work from home.
Yeah, well, that was the big shift, right? From the pandemic, and we learned that people can be very, you know, productive while working from home,
right?
And in some cases even better than they were in an office, right? Not for everybody, right? We saw it work very well in the corporate world, where working from home, the production went up, and in many companies. However, we saw in the school system, they just, and when I say killed it, I don't mean it in a good way.
Social skills, yeah.
You know, we've gone backwards quite a bit in the school system, but you know, it's there's so much out there to learn and so much out there to know. Ted, yeah, absolutely happy to you know, have another conversation, you know, have a conversation with you on how to help your business, because you know, all I do is provide options, opportunities. Right. That's it. You decide what works for you, what's best for you. What, you know, you need to be focused. You can't, you know, but you need to understand what's out there, because we've shifted, right? So when I'm building this business, I'm thinking, okay, what are the employees I need to have, right? I need a CEO, COO, a CFO, and a head of global sales for sure, right? I'm thinking I got to have those for sure. And those are each going to cost me several $100,000, right?
Yeah.
But I'm finding out, no, that's not true. I can go to Pro CFO. I can talk to Nelson and Halle, and they can handle things for me on a part-time basis at much lower cost and more efficient, because they're professionals at it. They've been doing it their whole lives. They're at very high levels. But you can outsource these things. I don't necessarily recommend outsourcing sales. It just depends what kind of sales you're doing.
Yeah.
But other great people on here, Dee Florchek, you know, if you're into commercial, you're looking at buying some commercial space, you know, she was helping us out in learning and understanding the trials and tribulations of going through financing of that information. We had on the TV show Alex Rosen, This is the time of year for somebody like Alex Rosen, right? Alex,
good,
who gently and professionally goes out there and retrieves, the receivables that have not been received.
That's right.
Non-received
receivables.
Yeah. We brought in a super nice guy, Casey Moss, to tell us and understanding taxation and with businesses and certain tricks, and not necessarily tricks, but understanding the system.
Yeah.
Right. And so we as business owners have a tendency to think we understand systems, this one and that one and everyone, and we don't.
Yeah.
You don't know everything. Be the first to admit that. We've had our good friend Glenn Smith on here. And talked about many different business aspects. He's had quite a career. Lawyers, Scott Burton, and talking about different legal aspects, including trusts.
Melissa Blatt with Indigo.
Yeah.
Great information. A lot of people that weren't aware of, especially for small business owners.
Yeah, exactly.
On the benefits front.
Yep, exactly. It's we've tried to touch on every aspect of a business that you need to know about, or at least have in your head at some point, because it's going to come up. And if you have a little bit of knowledge about it now, you're going to be able to handle it and deal with it, I think, a little better when it hits you. Because it will. I mean, you just can't get away. No business is perfect, and nothing goes from hanging a shingle to being a major success, as many people are finding out. What we have, 4 million, 7 million. I can't remember how many businesses started in the last 2-3 years now, because it keeps growing. But again, our goal here is to bring on the highest quality people from anywhere in the world, and help you understand there's a lot more to going from a concept and being successful than anybody can possibly dream of when they're coming out of the gates for the first time.
Yeah.
We've had folks on here like Laura that's had several businesses, so she knows exactly how to throw things together.
Yeah.
But then there's timing. There's no perfect map. There's no perfect system out there. It's different for everybody, for every type of business, and you have to understand, and maybe you have to scale back because your plans were too big, or maybe your plans aren't big enough.
You don't know. Big enough.
Well, let's say, okay, so in our instance, we expanded into a global operation because people were reaching out to us, but we're challenged with getting the funding to become a global operation in a short period of time. So do we scale back? And do we say, okay, maybe we just stick to national, maybe we just stay in one state and then grow from there to 5 states?
Splash it in like a rock in a pond.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so you and you have to take all these things into account. You have to at least put some energy and thought into different options to accomplish what you're looking to accomplish.
But at times though, when you do that, for sure, it takes a lot of breath out of you. Right. So there's an X factor always. And with that X factor comes, that X factor is always the big, hairy, audacious goal or whatever. And then there's a sense of us that goes, damn it. We were right there. And we missed the 2-foot putt.
Yeah,
and now we've got to go back and
go ahead.
And your mental psyche as a business owner is so fragile if you're not around the right people, that you go, we failed, but okay, let's start here, instead of, all right, it's just a setback. I got punched in the face. Mike Tyson says it best, right? Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Good point. Nothing is going to go smoothly or as planned. If mistakes are going to happen.
Yeah.
We go back to the saying I talk about with what we used to say in the trading pits was make the trade, manage the risk. Don't get caught up in trying to figure out what to do, where to do it, and wasting time and potentially harming your processes and procedures that you have going on and the momentum that you have. Make a decision, move on, right?
Yeah.
And then manage your risk. No, I'm getting rid of the elf here because I get too many hands moving. Yeah. I just I'm not even Italian. I always use my hands, but make a decision and manage your risk because you got to do something. You got to keep moving. Got to keep momentum going.
Yeah.
That's the idea. But you also have to stop, and you have people like a CFO and others that help watch your backside.
Yeah.
You need that, and you can't do everything as a business owner.
Well,
you'll burn out.
Right. Yeah. And Ted says, since listening to 21.6, the net, knowing all the great people involved in the station, my business has changed from a no structure or plan to a set structure and plan. I appreciate all that I've learned. Yeah, that's huge, and he's doing great things. And this is a guy too who has spina bifida, so he's hampered physically.
Okay,
and still is kicking butt and taking names. I mean,
awesome. It's that again. It's that mindset. You can sit there. There's people I've met out there that they just like the idea of being founder or CEO.
Yeah, they like president. To have a card to pass.
They want the title or everything. The title doesn't mean crap if you don't have a business going.
Yeah, I've found that people's titles and business cards are like what the '80s corner office used to mean. Well, yeah, right. Hey, look at me. Come on in.
Right. Yeah. You can chase titles all you want. And if you're chasing titles in the corporate world, then you've already learned that chasing the title, I'll give you a title.
Yeah.
I ain't going to pay you for it.
So we here at DDOE Enterprises, Inc., it's the mother of 21.6 Studios and 216 The Net. And we, after having, the CFOs on with your show, I wrote down, a CEO is meant, their purpose is to expand the company, drive profitability, improve share prices, right?
Okay.
The CFO is to track cash flow, financial planning, and analyzing the company's financial strengths and weaknesses and proposing a strategic direction. And the COO is really second in command, handles the day-to-day operations of a company, right? And then, own, hold, grow. Own, hold, grow. Review the campus every quarter, they said. So as we've done this, I was, founder, president, CEO. And it was important to me, right?
Yeah.
And now we've brought in some new partners, and I said, okay, Mike, you're going to be the CEO because you can help. You got good ideas, vision. You can help expand the company.
Mm-hmm.
You can drive profitability, understanding that. And then I go to Drew. I say, hey, Drew, you're going to be the COO. You're going to be second in command. You're going to take care of all the technical stuff and the day-to-day operations to make sure everything is chugging along. I'm going to be the CFO. They both kind of looked at me like, why would you give up the CEO? And I'm like, it really means nothing. But I've got a banking background, so it makes sense. I can look at the numbers. I can analyze the numbers. We can move things in different directions. And then I don't have to be.
Well, you got to understand the value of the people in the positions as well. Being a CFO, there's much, much more to it than just saying, I know numbers.
Yeah, that's right.
It's you need to understand trends.
Yeah.
You need to understand those numbers so well that when there's a shift, you recognize it and
shifts.
Or as it's shifting, so that you can come to the COO and CEO and say, hey, this is what's happening. What do you think is the countermeasure?
Right.
Or what do you think is the supporting measure? It could be one or the other. But yeah, I agree. We can define those roles in many different ways.
Yeah.
The reality is look, if you get a visionary, you can call him CEO. You can just call him chief visionary guy.
Correct.
Whatever you want. But you do need somebody who is that visionary, that is looking forward, is watching day to day, but looking forward. Okay, what are some things that we can do to enhance what we're trying to provide to our current clientele anyway? Right? How can we make this better? But you're also, as a CEO, you're also the head rah-rah guy.
Yeah.
Right. You set the tone of the employees and all the way down the line, and how people are going to act and react, and especially how people act and react around you as a CEO.
Yeah.
Do you want them to feel comfortable, or do you want them to sit there and have this tremendous respect for the title? And I don't want a bunch of yes people around me. That's for sure. That's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
You'll be out of business very quickly.
Yeah. Really.
And not to say you need to seek out people who are totally against what you're doing. Seek out smart people, and they'll help fill in the lines. They'll help fill in the positions. Like I said, I thought I was going to have to hire a very expensive CFO. But now I'm learning, no, that's not true. It's just not true.
Right.
And I think a lot of this work from home has, brought technology to more people, and they understand more about technology than they did before because we've had to.
Yes.
3 years ago, how many people were actually really doing Zoom? It's out there. I get it. It was being done. There's WebEx, there was Zoom, there was some other things that were going on in the corporate world and stuff, and it was used, but by 10% of the people, in that world, and now it's used by everybody, right?
Yeah.
From kids in high school and even in junior high and stuff, and all the way up to the retired folks having a little Zoom.
That's right.
Get together. But that's a big thing too. Technology.
Yeah. Huge.
Keeping track of it. How does it affect you? We talked about planning, and my father's generation, you wanted to build a business, you had to have a plan that was 5, 10, 15, 20 years out. Nowadays, if you're thinking more than 5 years out, well, you're probably wasting your time.
Yeah.
You can, but be very, very flexible.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah.
It's just not going to. It's not going to go the way you think it goes.
Right.
And look at like we talk about, all the predictions for 2022 in the markets, the stock markets, and none of them were right. And I can tell you that would probably be how long has the market been around? 150 years.
Yeah.
So that would be 150th time they've been wrong. But and we'll continue that trend going forward. I guarantee you that. But there's going to be, it's going to be an interesting year too. We got a lot of concerns. I noticed that the Republicans have now proved to us that they're really not really any better than the Democrats. When we got George Santos out there in New York, the rep who falsified his resume.
Yeah.
And promoted it and went out and spoke about it and then says, yeah, I lied. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to give back, the state representative position. There's lots of things going on both sides of the aisle there. We need to work together on both sides of the aisle. That's about as far as I'm going to go with the political side of things.
Yeah.
But
I think though that the hard lesson learned in the last 18 months is that we have to go back to critical thinkers and research, and not just taking a soundbite from a news source or a 3-sentence ticker at the bottom of someone's screen as gospel. Right?
Yeah, unfortunately, but TikTok, Instagram,
a lot of people spend a lot of time there. Absolutely,
they do.
Absolutely.
And
I was able to have a lot of conversations with my family and friends over the holiday about the merchant of death trade for Brittany Griner.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, here's what you need to know. What you need to know is there are a lot of other dominoes involved in that that they didn't want you to know about. I said, and not to get into it, but that's the same way with your business. Is if you don't understand geopolitics, you're going to be upset with a player trade, when in fact there were several teams probably involved with said trade. Right?
True. Understanding global economics is wonderful, but not many people can get to that level. Where do you learn that? Right. Yeah. You're going to learn that in the higher levels of college and only in certain colleges. And even there, being taught in a college is not the same thing as a real world, folks. It's just not even close. No. But I spent 20 years in global economics, and so that's where I got my schooling and my lesson in it. And trust me, folks, if you think we have it bad here, we have it better than everywhere else in the world, because how we goes the rest of the world. If we're struggling, we're fighting, we're hurting. The rest of the world is struggling, fighting, and hurting even more. And I told you when my travels to the Middle East, the number one question from people around the world were, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on in your country? It's a question I can't answer. But there's a lot of influences and a lot of things. We got to get our act together. We can't. Markets are fluctuating based on daily stories. Not on true, real information. Right. We get worried about Tom Brady retiring and not retiring, and then he breaks up with Giselle, and it's like,
we get worried about a blizzard that gives us 1.5 inches of snow.
Yeah, what they call it, the big blow or something like that out west. And it's like, okay, wait a minute.
There were, I was in Iowa the last couple of days, and Iowa did get, they've got about 8 inches over there between the two snowstorms, but again.
Hey, it wasn't any fun here. 35, 40 below wind chills.
It's winter though.
But it was wind chills. We got what, 2-3 inches?
Yeah, it's winter though. We expect it to be cold there.
Right. That's still a little harsh, but
I think it's time to shut things down.
We're about to be 85 degrees warmer by tomorrow from last week. But winds blow, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same in business.
Yeah, Ted says, in today's world, there are people with college degrees on welfare and high school dropouts making a great living.
Yeah, and it's, it's, Ted, that's kind of always been the case.
Yeah.
It's just that we were raised, at least through my generation, was you just go to college. If you want to be anybody or get anywhere in life, you have to have a college degree. That's out the window.
Yeah.
That's out the window now, because the corporate world is not even, much of the corporate world is making that shift into, I'd rather have an entrepreneurial minded person coming in here than one who has gone through the system.
Don't get me wrong. I want my surgeons to have that schooling and that education. But then again, if you take a look at the way a doctor is schooled, it's okay. My future son-in-law, he's in medical school right now, and he's just finishing up his second year of books. So where he goes, you hit the books for 2 years, bam, 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 and then you're off. Now you're going to be doing your residencies, your interns,
and that's a whole world new language you got to learn too in that world,
stuff,
right? Yeah. And same thing in the legal world, and there are, of course, there are certain.
There's a reason why attorneys
professions
practice and doctors practice medicine, because they're constantly learning.
Yeah,
they're studying, they're seeing new techniques. Now in those worlds, robots are starting to help with surgeries.
The interesting thing that they are, and well, they've been doing it for probably a couple of decades now, to be honest with you, but they're becoming more prominent and more technically challenging surgeries. But we still have the studies that come out in the medical world, and and now this is bad for you, and this is good for you, and this is bad for you, and look at all the diets that are out there. I mean, folks, just eat right, get a little bit of exercise, you'll be fine.
I will tell you, after the Christmas holiday, we're rolling back home, And I look over at my wife in the car and I go, I feel like crap. How did we? Because we changed our entire lifestyle.
Yeah.
But again, there are the cookies. There's the garbage, the holiday garbage, and we're going home. And I go, I feel like absolute dog crap. How did I put my body through this all the time?
Well, we same thing. So I was blessed with my kids coming home, my daughter-in-law coming home to visit for Christmas, and because of the cold, all of our plans got canceled.
Oh, sure.
Right, because we were going to go to Christkindl Market. No, we can't do that. They closed because it was so cold. We were going to have visit with other family. Couldn't do it because it was so cold, and stuff. So what did we wind up doing? Cook, eat, clean, repeat.
Yeah.
Cook, eat, clean, repeat.
Right.
That's always. I have. Me, Ken. Yeah. If I have one meal a day, I'm happy.
Oh yeah.
That's good for me.
Yeah.
But eating 2 or 3 meals a day, and then on Christmas Day, we were making these croissant French toast with toasted almonds. The kids are like, "What? Why aren't you making your eggs Benedict?" And I go, "Well, I thought, we're having this decadent French toast, right?
Yeah.
And bacon and everything, and you want eggs Benedict on top of that?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we do." So I whipped up some eggs Benedict. And that's one of my favorite sauces.
So, we're into the last couple minutes of the show, and I just got to ask, are you going to challenge yourself? Do you have a personal challenge that you want to do in 2023? My personal challenge in 2022 was to not drink any alcohol, and here we are on the 28th, and I haven't had a drink of alcohol all year, so I'm into the back straightaway.
Wow.
That was just a personal
I need to do something more realistic.
Yeah. So
that's not gonna
happen. Have you thought of a personal challenge to give yourself?
I have a personal challenge. It's kind of tied to the professional challenge. Because that's where my mindset is at right now. I need to build this concept, and I need to get it done. I needed to get it out on the market, and I have a personal goal set for that. I don't want to say that because
that's okay.
People will look at me like you're out of your flipping mind.
Yeah. But you do. You've given yourself a challenge.
I've given myself one hell of a challenge.
Yeah. Because running a 5K, doing a marathon, those are challenges, right? It's just a personal challenge. You're really not doing it for anything other than to say, can I do it? So I always try to come up with some sort of personal challenge. So you have one, and I think that's good, because I think that when it's personal, I think that's what pushes you and motivates you to take a look at the losses and go, okay, all right, okay. So I've got a couple as well.
It's like having a plan, right? It's important. You need to have something to work towards and work for, right?
Yeah.
I've known people in the sales world that say, okay, well, I want that, I hope to get a Corvette.
Yeah.
Well, put a picture of a Corvette up and work towards that goal every day and put money away and whatnot. I don't necessarily think, things like that are
right.
important, but you do have to, just like you have to have a plan, you have to have a goal.
Yeah.
You got to set yourself up and make it challenging, and then kind of work backwards.
Yeah.
How am I going to get to that point?
Yeah.
What's the steps I need to take?
Yeah.
And then follow those steps on a weekly basis, monthly basis, however you want to do it. Did I reach that step? Did I reach the next step? Because that's all you need to focus on, because if you reach each steps, you'll get to your goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Ted says he's personally challenging. My personal challenge for 2023 is to have the money to put money down on either a building or buying my family's first home.
That's a great goal.
And what I would say is that's a good goal.
That's a realistic goal.
That's a good goal. I don't know if
it's a challenging one. I think it's challenging. It's not easy to put together 20% down on a $300,000-$200,000 home or whatnot. It's not. That's a big challenge, because that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, investment in your life.
So like a goal for me is in 2023, right? Free in 23 is my mantra, right? So the idea is that I want to make money with people who want to make money. That's just a goal, right? It's not a challenge. That's a goal. But a challenge is more on a personal level. I think, it's like, I'm going to go run a 5K. Why? I'm just challenging myself to run a 5K. I'm never going to do that, right? So I come up with different. It's like one of my challenges, like this past year, was no alcohol, and I've done it. People have, hey, you need one? You want one? There have been many days where I was like, whoo, a glass of scotch would be great right now. A little bourbon would. But so like one of mine for 2023 is I want to eat a salad a day. I want to eat a salad a day. Now I don't care.
Oh, most people think that that's really healthy.
It's not.
Depends what's in that salad.
That's correct.
Right?
That's correct.
Depends what's in it and what's on it.
And what's on it. Right. So that's why I say is it's a challenge. But what I've taken a look at in my lifestyle is I just don't eat enough vegetables. Now it could be a broccoli salad. It could be, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. It could be Jell-O salad. I don't care. But my goal is to eat a salad a day, and not not for every meal, but I want to have a salad a day.
I think a lot of folks say that. My wife and I have said, we need to eat more salads.
Yeah.
And things like that. But let's wrap this up and just say I'm so thankful for all of the guests that we've had on the show, for the amazing talent that they have and that they brought to us and shared with us, their gifts, their talent, their experience, their knowledge. We hope, and it is a goal to continue that, to continue to bring these wonderful people on, have some of these folks back, have some new people on with new perspectives. And the idea is, look, this show is here to help you grow.
Yeah.
It costs nothing. You can have access to any and all of the shows that will help you grow your business to be successful. And that's our gift.
Yeah.
And we're blessed to be here and be able to provide it to you, and to learn at the same time, and to surround ourselves with some incredible people.
Yeah. Hey folks, that's it. We've got to get running. Again, we can't thank you enough here at Innovative Strategies for joining us, and Bill, the incredible work that you do and time and passion you put into this. It shows, and I appreciate that. It is Wednesday. We will be back later this week. Friday is going to be a big day. And then on Saturday morning, New Year's Eve morning, we'll have Lana. She'll be kind of wrapping up some of the year and doing some fun things.
Sweet.
Yeah. So for all of us here at 21.6 The Net, we can't thank you enough for getting caught in the net with us this morning. But until then, be good and be good to each other. And if we don't bump into each other, have a blessed and happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for chiming in and being part of the show. And again, we'll do our best to bring you high quality in the new year. So happy New Year.